Hi, this is Angela of midmodernmama.com, and this is my plan with me, the second part of my plan with me with the Nice List for 2019. The Nice List is a Christmas planner and organizer, and previously I did a video about using the calendaring section of the Nice List. Today we're going to talk about the gift giving section of the Nice List, how to plan for and make the most of whatever your Christmas season budget might be. And I have developed this. I was a really busy person with not a lot of resources, and I developed the Nice List as a way to keep track of my budget, to keep track of my gift giving, and to help myself become a more thoughtful gift giver. And I used it for years and years by myself, and now it's available for you to use as well. So here's a tour of how to use it and how I plan. If you have a copy of the Nice List, pull yours out and let's do this together. So I have here in front of me, this is the 2019 edition. This is the 2018 edition, which I often refer back to. And part of the Nice List and part of using the Nice List is having a record year to year of what you have given, to whom you've given gifts, what you've received from people. All of those things are in the Nice List if you use it. And so I always have my books from previous years together while I start my planning process. So the first thing that we need to accomplish. If you open up your Nice List, there's a checklist that starts on page 4, and it helps you go through the Nice List and use it all the way through the season. There's lots of ideas and all kinds of information here. But the first thing that we're going to talk about today is setting your overall budget. Now, this is personal preference. This is how much are you going to spend on your Christmas season as a whole. And you commit that number right here. And maybe it's $100, and maybe it's $1,000, and maybe it's somewhere in between. I don't know what you spend on your Christmas, but this is where you write that number. And you're going to come back to that in a little bit, but that tells you how much you can spend on your particular Christmas season. And that's really important. There is nothing more stressful in my book than getting to Christmas and wanting to give people gifts and not feeling like you can do it. But here's the thing. I actually believe that you can give lovely Christmas gifts even if it's $5 per person. And one of the things that I work on in a few weeks, my giving guide will be out on midmodernmama.com. You should look. You can still see 2018's giving guide if you're getting a jump start. And on that giving guide, I look for gifts in every price range. And I really focus on those harder to find gifts, the smaller ones. So we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But I want to assure you that this number does not have to be big. It's not worth it going into debt to finance Christmas and then having to pay it off over the next 6 months or year or never. It's not worth it. So set your overall budget and make it reasonable, something that you and your family can live with, truly, truly live with. The number I'm going to use today to make it easy is $400. So that is going to be the overall budget, and we'll use that as the budget for the entire as we work. So the next thing that we do on our checklist, you've done this, is to make your list. These are all of the people that you are going to give gifts to. And right now, the first thing to do is to get all of those names written down. This is where having prior years comes in really handy. So if this is your first year using the Nice List, next year it'll be even easier because you'll already have this step partly done or mostly done. But I'm going to start here. And one of the nice things about the Nice List, and one of the reasons we put so much in the back, is that you have blank pages in the back. And this is where you can start this process. You can see I've already put some trackers in here. I do a lot of bullet journaling, and we'll talk a little bit more about the truckers in a minute, but you have lined pages, gridded pages, and blank pages at the back. So pick a spot where it feels comfortable. I'm just going to go here and put down the name of every person that you need to give gifts to. So once you have your big list made and you have all of those names there, that can be really overwhelming. So the next thing that we do is break those lists down into 3 smaller lists. And if you turn back in your copy of the Nice List, you will come to right here. Sorry. There's a whole section about how to do this on page 115. And it talks about how to divide them up, but you're going to divide your list into 3 sections: family, friends, and work and school. So the work and school gifts are tokens of appreciation. These are small gifts, things that you give to teachers and coaches and those kinds of people. Your friends' gifts are the people that you know well, but you're not going to spend as much of your money on them. And then your family gifts, these are the meaningful gifts. These are the people that you spend the most time and the most resources on. Your family list may be very short, it may be very long. There's no judgment here. You could have 2 people on that list, and you could have 20 people on your friends list, and there's no concern about how you do that. But the next step is to take this long list and to break it up into those 3 smaller lists. So one of the things you'll notice as I'm transferring these lists is I've eliminated a few people who maybe I thought I needed to get a gift, but maybe they're okay. One of these people can go along with his family. I have to give a gift to the whole family, so he can just be included in that. And a couple of these people, I don't believe in gifts of obligation, so I think it'll be okay. The other thing I've done as I've been working is I've kind of started to group people together. These are all going to be teacher gifts. These are all family pets, and so they will be in kind of their own special area down here. And then the lists have kind of sorted themselves out. There are 2 pages per kind of list, so you have plenty of room. You could skip lines. Maybe you get multiple presents for some of these people, and so you need a couple of lines to make notes and that kind of thing. There's plenty of room to spread things out. So now that I have this list basically sorted and everything is organized, now I have to go back to that original number. So at the beginning, we set out that the budget is $400. And now it is time to look at the budgeting tool that is here in the Nice List, if I can find it. Here it is. So that's on page 109. And there's a whole section about budgeting. So my total gift budget is $400. It would be really easy to spend most, if not all of that money on one gift if I wasn't really careful. And so, or 1 or 2 people. So I've got to think carefully about these categories. So I have a percentage of total budget here for each of the categories, a category percentage times the total budget, and there's a formula here. The first thing I have to do, though, is add up the number of gifts in each category. So I need to look at the number of people. That's really what that means for each of those categories. So I look here. Okay, so I have those numbers already. Now I have to look at this and I have to decide, what percentage of my total budget do I want to spend on my family? My usual formula is that I spend 50% on my family. I spend about 30% on my friends, and then the remaining 20% on work and school. Your formula may be totally different. This is completely up to you, but that's roughly what I do. So now I'm going to multiply this. So 50% times 400 is $200. 30% of 400 is $120. That leaves 20%, which is $80. Okay, add those up, you get 400. So now I need to do some quick division, and there is no shame whatsoever in using a calculator to do this. So $200 divided by 13 is 15.38. $120 divided by 10 is $12. And $80 divided by 16 is a nice even $5. Okay, so then we look at these numbers. Are you happy with these numbers? Maybe you make an adjustment and you decide to increase this number slightly. I'm going to add another $100 to the pool total. I think I can handle that in my budget. So if I divide that by 13 gifts, that gives me another $7 to add to each of these gifts. So that brings that to, so if we change this to 500, that brings that, and we add $7, this makes that $22 per gift. Okay, and I'm going to leave this at 12, and I'm going to leave that at 5. I think those are pretty reasonable numbers, and $22 I can do a lot with that in this case. So now that I have my numbers, I go back to these family pages, these lists. It's really easy to forget those numbers. So for family, my per gift budget is going to be $22. For friends, it's going to be $12. And for work and school, it's going to be $5. Okay? Now you've got your list sorted. You know how much money you can spend on each gift. And so now it's a matter of finding those gifts and recording what you've done. But what about these meaningful gifts? How do we do that? So there is a special section here in the front of your planner, page 9. Each one of the people on that meaningful gift, the family gift list, gets 2 full pages to themselves, because my guess is you probably, like me, don't just give those people Christmas gifts, but they probably get birthday gifts, and maybe you remember them at other times of the year too. So this is a place to keep track of all of that and to give them each a little time and a little space to start to look for those really thoughtful gifts. This is a way to make your money go farther too. The more thought you put into a gift, even if you have what you feel like is a small per gift budget here, you can still make those gifts really meaningful by putting a little bit of thought and intentionality behind them. So I go through and then I fill out these family pages for each person. So let's do that for Harry. He's the first person on my list. Here's your relationship, his birth date, July 31st. Relationship, he's a cousin. If you happen to know their clothing sizes, that's especially great for when you're buying for kids. I always text my sisters every year and say, you know, give me an update on your kids' clothing sizes before Christmas comes. I don't always get them clothing, but I have it there. So, you know, size, he's wearing a large and, you know, whatever it is. Their favorites and interests. So, you know, what is this person really interested in? And then any notes that you might have about this. And this is a place where you can jot down some ideas. Then this page is also for Harry. So here's where you can record what you end up buying for Harry for Christmas, but also what do you give him for his birthday? What did you end up buying for him for Valentine's Day, for example? So there are portfolio pages here for every person on your family list. Go through and fill those out. That may help you come up with some really good ideas of things that you would like to get them, interests that they may have. This takes a little bit of time, but like I said, the more time you put into it at the front, the better it is overall. When you are out shopping and you end up making a purchase for someone, and the same is true for friends, and the same is true for your work and school friends too. All of those gifts, you have that all taken care of. And here's the best part. You have a record of what you have given every year from this point on. In the back of the nice list, there's this little pocket, and this is where I keep receipts. I keep my nice list in my purse all the time. When I'm out Christmas shopping and I make one of those purchases, I stand at the cash wrap, I write it down, and then I put the receipt in here, and that way I have it in case there needs to be a return or exchange. Whatever it is there and it's with me. And this is my planner for the entire Christmas season. Supplies run out.
Thank you so much for joining me for this tour of the nice list. If you would like to buy a copy, they are available on my website at midmodernmama.com. It's available both as a PDF download and also as a printed book. I hope that it is a helpful tool for you and your family this holiday season, and I wish you all the best. Thanks so much for joining me.